What is up? So I'm going to bring you daily wrap-ups from Loretta Lynn's. If you don't have time to watch the whole thing, I'll give you the quick version. Remember, guys, subscribe to the channel. I don't know why, but people get unsubscribed. And if you do get unsubscribed, please drop it in the comments. I'm still fighting with YouTube on that to try and figure it out. I don't know if it'll help or not, but I sure appreciate it. And if you want to be a member, that would help me a lot. $2.99. And I will give you some exclusive content. I'll be doing some exclusive lives and giveaways for members. So if you want to do that, you're helping me more than you know. Special thanks to Coach Rob, and we'll be going through a lot of his guys at the end of this. Epic Garage Designs. I was at an airplane hangar today, and this thing is beautiful. Check out epicgaragedesigns.com. Ride Strapped if you need some goggles and you don't want a company that will sue your local track. Hit up Ride Strap. Precision Transport. Hit up pretransport.com if you're shipping anything using a truck. Without further ado, let's get into this.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So like most people, I'm paying attention to the pro classes, the 250 Pro Sport and the Open Pro Sport. I want to see what the next generation coming into the pros is going to look like, and this gives you a good gauge. It's not everything because it's just one track, but we kind of know a lot of these guys. Cole Davies, the Australian who's riding for the Gas TLD team and jumped ship, went over to Star, which that looked at the time like he was kind of bailing on that team, when in reality, we didn't know what was going on with that team, and that team is switching to Ducati in 2026, so that was probably the best option for Cole Davies, and this kid can ride. In his first trip to the ranch, he got the whole shot and checked out. It wasn't even close. There was some good battling behind him with Avery Long, Liam Olaf, and a lot of these other guys. And his biggest competitor in this class is Drew Adams. Drew Adams has been dominating the Supercross Futures and just really riding good. He went up to Canada Sunday before the event, flew down, barely made it in time for practiced, and now he's racing. I mean, the dude's riding every single day, and that worries me just a touch because these guys, it is hot at the ranch, and these dudes looked fatigued in every class. All these guys were they were beat down, and this is going to wear on them because I checked the weather, and it doesn't look like it's going to get much cooler throughout the week. And tomorrow, on Wednesday, the pros race two motos. You got the Open Pro Sport, which is at like 11 a.m., which will be about 90 degrees. And then you have the 250 Pro Sport Moto 2, which will go off at, I believe, like 4 or 5, something like that. And it will be 94 degrees. Dang, I mean, that's two hot, gnarly motos. Who's going to fatigue and who's not? It depends on who can recover overnight, who's going to get the proper fluids. If I was there, I would be getting IVs for these kids. I don't know what the rules say about it. I don't care. I don't want my kid dying of heat exhaustion. I would 100% get them an IV. And in that 250 Pro Moto, Avery Long, I don't know much about him, but he looks really strong out there. He got into second place and held it really well. Liam Olaf, Joe Olaf's son, I guess he's coming back from a knee injury, so he's kind of struggling with that. But dude, this guy, I like this kid. He looks like he could just spit nails. I mean, he's a tough SOB. So Liam Olaf sucked it up and got himself a podium. And that ride out of Drew Adams was absolutely unbelievable. He was down in the first turn so far back. I have no idea how he got all the way up to fourth place. I mean, he was just ripping through those guys. And this is a strong field. I mean, we're going to find out exactly how strong it is when we see them go against the vet riders. There's 3 plus 25 riders that are really good. You got Cole Martinez, Heath Harrison, and Jacob Hayes. All 3 guys will be racing the Open Pro Sport. And I like to use those guys as a gauge to see how good this upcoming class is. If those veterans can beat them, I don't know. But if they can smoke those veterans, it'll let you know how high the level is right now with these kids. Now, Drew Adams heading into this thing being the huge favorite, he's going to have to win this second 250 moto and hope Avery Long or Olaf or somebody else can get in between him and Davies. That's the only way he can control his own destiny heading into the third moto. If he wins and Davies gets second heading into that third moto, all Davies has to do is finish second behind him. But it's 3 moto format in this heat. I suspect there'll be a lot of mayhem, and it's way too early to start counting numbers. I don't think you should really start doing that until the third moto. But when you get a fourth, 1 through 3 in that first moto, and you still control your own destiny. Once you get just a little outside of that, you still kind of control your own destiny, but you can still go 1-1 and lose the overall. So that's just something I'm looking at. Speaking of the heat, in the 65cc 10 to 11 class, Carter Gray rode his heart out, won the moto. I mean, he put so much effort into it. When they pulled him up to interview him, he was dry heaving. He could hardly remember his sponsors. He couldn't talk. I feel bad. Please rest this kid. The heat is dangerous, but I mean, I can't help but commend that kid's effort, but don't let him do permanent damage to himself. Heat exhaustion can really do damage to these kids and how they're developed and how their fitness winds up later on in life. So parents, please keep an eye on that kid. He clearly doesn't know his own limits, and he's one of those kids where he will push himself into the ground. Don't let him, stop him, get him an IV, whatever you have to do to keep this kid healthy, but watch him pretty close. If he starts to get delirious or anything, heat stroke is nothing to mess around with. But man, I'll tell you what, I still was so impressed with that kid and that effort. That's a kid I'm going to be watching. Remember that name, Carter Gray. And the former professional racers who are kind of making their returns to the ranch, they were out in full force. From Andrew Short beating the perennial winner at Loretta Lynn's Mike Brown in the plus 40 moto. I mean, Mike Brown was on him the whole time, and I don't know if Shorty can hold him off all 3 motos. Shorty still got it, man. This guy can ride, and Mike Brown's got his hands full. For this guy to be that old and that badass, I don't know, man. He makes Chuck Norris look bad. In that 25 plus class, which is essentially like another pro sport class, it's like the 25 pro sport, Cole Martinez on the Yamaha. It's strange seeing Cole Martinez, who's been on a Honda forever. He was on a Honda a couple years ago when he won the Open Pro Sport, but he made a steady charge and ate up Heath Harrison those last couple laps and got the moto win. Heath Harrison held on for second, and Jacob Hayes. Jacob Hayes looks like he took this pretty seriously, and he looks prepared. He was third on the podium, and given the right circumstances, I think Jacob Hayes could mix this thing up. Then in the 30 plus, where I believe it's the non-pro, guys who haven't scored points, I believe that's the rule. Brandon Haas, owner of Club MX, just showing that this dude, not only can he run a team, this dude can flat ride. Brandon Haas and he looks like he might do it again. In the 50 plus class, Mike Brown won by like an hour. I mean, he was just gone. This is his easy class to just rack up a win. And that's weird to say when the guy that got second was Jeff Emig. You know, Jeff Emig, Supercross, outdoor national champion. That's who got second. But that's how good Mike Brown is in his later years. Man, he flat hammered it. And Jeff Emig looks like an easy second place. But like I said, he was about an hour behind. And there's a girl I want you guys to pay attention. Her name's Lachlan Lala Turner. She won the girls 11 to 16, but this girl's from Reno, Nevada, and she can flat fly. Look for her to be a threat in the bigger class too, with the older girls when she goes against Jordan Jarvis and the other girls at the top of the WMX series. Lachlan Lala Turner is a talent, and this little girl can ride. Now let's check in on Coach Rob. Coach Rob has got a bunch of athletes, and I look for them to excel towards the end of the week because we know one thing about Coach is he knows how to manage energy, manage fitness, and get these guys hydrated through the weekend. Ryder Rygart ripped a hole shot on his DH, Derek Harris powered motorcycle. Man, Derek Harris builds some badass motors. If you're not having him do your motors, you might want to think about doing that because they're fast, reliable. Derek knows what he's doing. In the mini senior 12 to 14, Coach's guy that he told me about on the show the other day, Chase Dashel. Chase rode really good, but he had a bad start. He had to charge back up from, the way they do the picks at Loretta's is they draw, and there's 42 gates, and there's not that many good gates. There's only about 10 or 15 good gates. So if you draw any of those outside numbers, you will be doing some work in that first moto. He charged up, ended up 5th, so good on Chase. In the 85 10 to 12, Coach had some dominant guys. Nolan Ford took the win. Iden Steinbrecher. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say your name. Eden Steinbrecher Churlo. I don't know how to say your name, but I'll put it on the screen here. I apologize if somebody could help me with that one and maybe spell it out phonetically for me. I would appreciate it, but came in with a strong 5th place. Sawyer Geik came in at 6th. So Coach has some strong guys in that 10 to 12. And Iden, I apologize. I don't know how to say that one. Ripped a hole shot after getting a little pep talk from none other than Joe Shimoda. It's pretty cool seeing all these top racers out there cheering on the next generation and really supporting that. That had to mean a lot to him to have somebody like Joe Shimoda come up there and give you a little pep talk. clearly it fired him up. He ripped a hole shot. So anyway, guys, I will keep this coverage coming all week. Like I said, if I got any of those names wrong, just put how to spell them out phonetically in the comments and I'll work on it. So thank you guys for everything. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you tomorrow.